Oh.
Look at little neat little things. I said, where's the DEF fluid go? He says it's in here.
Huh. Oh, this thing uses DEF fluid. Dang it. Oh, that's nice. Is this?
That's it.
That's
there.
it.
Yep.
Weird.
And then if you want to jump start somebody,
Has it got it on the outside?
right there.
Oh, awesome. God, we should do that with everything.
Rubber thing right there. There we are.
Let's do a little walk around.
Yeah. The length was built just for the 4000.
It's a big truck. That is, isn't it just look huge when you just see the...
Yeah. I don't know how much fuel is in it. We have to go straight to the gas.
Yeah. Let's see.
This is a Detroit engine.
Was that number 10?
Yeah, oh, like that.
Ignition. Get some copies of this key made too.
Yeah, he's got another key for us too.
Here we go.
Maybe a dead man switch, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Yeah, I'm not getting nothing. It's got to be something. See a switch down there?
Maybe this is it. Here we go. Yeah.
That's it. Where is that?
Right
Oh.
here. Look at all those miles.
This is too nice. Like I don't even want to drive this. Cleanest it'll ever be, huh?
Yeah, the mirrors are heated, and somehow you can move them. Power windows.
There's a lot of buttons.
Yeah. He'll go over all this, but obviously that's cruise control. This has got something to do with like a Jake brake. If it wants to do an auto or regen, and you for some reason say no, we can't do it right now, that you can override it.
There's the mirrors.
Okay, yeah.
Mirror backup lights.
Okay.
Number 12 has those too. It's so
Do they?
nice. Yeah. Sometimes as we're going around a turn, I'll start turning the mirror to watch what he's doing.
Really? Oh, cool. Now these are interesting. Now there's a differential lock, and there's a differential lock for the rear axle, and then there's an interaxle lock, and then this is your front transfer case means in the front. So this, I believe, is like
It's weird.
it's so that one of your axles always has a live one that won't. You can't spin both of them. So it's like this one or this one will drive. But then if you even want more than that, you do them all, I guess.
Wow.
We'll ask Mike when we get there, when he gets here.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Okay, so that's the rear Oh, they're both.
forward rear
Oh, forward.
and rear rear,
the,
and then inner axle. But I would imagine if they were all locked and you got onto the pavement, you'd break something, you know. But this is the Allison transmission. Evidently, with that, you're not going to need a whole lot of locking in, especially with the front axle too.
that whole automatic.
Oh, we got half a tank here.
Yeah, look at that.
Now that is, it's required that there's got to be some kind of cigarette situation.
Oh, is that what that is?
It's not permanent, obviously, because they don't want to push that.
You know what that would be cool is to put like your, yeah, I was gonna say registration and stuff in it, but
Yeah.
maybe an extra copy.
You got 2 cigarette lighters.
One
Yeah,
here.
we still call them
are
that.
these? Yeah. No, they're called phone chargers. 3 of them, actually,
Yeah,
huh?
So fuel, here's your alternator, the temperature of your transmission oil, pressure of your engine oil, in water temperature. You know, here's where it gets a little crazy. I believe here's your A and B system for air. There's your rear axle temperature.
That's kind of...
And here's your rear axle temperature. That's, you know, the oil and differential. And then this is the one that confused me, and we talked about it later. He says it's like the pressure of your brake being applied. So press the brake and see if it moves.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what it's used for. Why would you need that? But
You know, if you figured it out, who knows? It might, if you're on a slope and you gotta hit your brakes.
this is gonna be the most secure feeling truck with a load. You know?
Well, it's not because it's so nice and new.
No, but still, I mean,
But you're
not going to worry about losing your brakes. It's like, it's not about, I was telling someone the other day, it's not about that this truck will go somewhere none of the others will go. It's just going to get there safely. You know, you're not going to, is it going to make it? You know, are we going to be able to climb that? Is it going to overheat?
Too cool.
What do you think about your clearance?
Oh, and this is your DEF. That's kind of cool. I think. Yeah.
Fuel?
See the little lights?
Oh, neat.
That's cool.
One of my wife's kitchen faucets, when it's cold, it's a little blue light, and if you start turning it to hot, it slowly turns to purple and then to red.
Hey, that's...
I said, or you can just put your
neat.
finger under it and see if it's hot.
That's all cool.
So,
Mind if I do a little video chat? I'll be going back over this stuff in a little details.
Is that a transmission cooler?
This is the tranny cooler. Yep.
Okay.
This is a tranny cooler. There's not, you know, a whole lot of great places to mount the thing, so this is they try to put it where it's going to get as much airflow as they can, and it's not going to be out of
Because
in the way.
putting
of
it
something.
behind the other main radiator wouldn't work, huh?
Yeah, they don't like sticking it up there. Part of the problem is you've already got all that heat up there. So, and this is usually I see them. They're either frame mounted. They're either outside frame mounted like this. Sometimes I'll mount them up underneath somewhere.
Well, it's a
if there's
pretty
room.
rugged mount.
Yeah.
I can't
And it's
see
all
it.
Set our
screened
box
in,
back
so
away
you're
from
not
it.
gonna
Yeah.
get-
The only thing that we're going to get
You may get
is
some
mulch.
stuff in there.
We get
mulch
our
in
mulch
there.
like we do because we have a cooling fan for our
You're
hydraulic
just gonna
system.
have to pressure wash it out every once in a while and
Hmm.
keep it cleaned out.
I wonder...
And you'll notice it because you know, obviously the tranny temperature is going to change, and you have a transmission gauge in there, so you're going to, you know.
And honestly, most of it, Dean, is going to be on the other side. You know, the
spray.
gun
Oh
side.
yeah, we spray mostly on the passenger side.
Yeah,
Well, that's good.
yeah.
All right.
It's a big fuel
so
tank.
this is the relay box up here for electrical options and stuff. Cooks, you know, this is a bodybuilder's box.
Okay.
So there's connections in here that she can get to. This is going to be an easy mount for her.
Yeah.
You know, so everything's pretty clean. Should be. I don't think there's anything that we've missed that might
Do you have
be
any
in the way
questions
somewhere.
on the switches on the dash?
We were looking at the differentials.
Yep. So you have lockers in the rear. You have full pause lock in the rear axle, and they're each individually controlled, plus a cross lock, plus your front axle interlock. All right, for all-wheel drive.
So the front and the rear axle, if you do the front one, it just locks up one or other of these wheels, right?
No, when you do the front one, it's fully pause lock in this front axle.
Okay.
Then you could do the rear separately as well.
Right.
Or you can combine a full pause lock with the cross lock. All right, or you can just run a cross lock.
Yeah.
Typically, most trucks standard cross lock.
Yeah.
You throw it, it'll lock this corner and that corner, or whatever corner is not freewheeling, right?
And so that was the button that was, it wasn't the front or the back, it was the one that
interlock.
did the interlock.
That interlock is going to lock the forward and rear axle together to the wheels that have traction.
Right.
Right?
Right.
The non-free spinning wheel. So if you get in a situation where you're, you know, a little off kilter or whatever, what's nice about this truck is you have a lot of articulation with the T-Ride. So the likelihood of this thing ever getting stuck with what you have, the options you have in there for switching up the axles, is pretty remote. Okay.
Now, would you ever do all three of the lockers?
That's what I was just gonna ask.
Would. Okay, so one thing to remember. So if you have full pause lock, if you have the truck fully locked up, all axles pause lock, that means there's not a free spinning axle.
Right.
Makes it very difficult to turn the truck sometimes.
Right.
Okay, because what's going to happen is this thing's just going to want to push you.
Yeah.
So you may not always, you're not, depending on the situation, the climb, wherever you are, and how you're creeping along, it'll be very useful in that situation, you know, if it's a mucky conditions and you don't want to spin out and that kind of stuff.
But the interlock by itself might be enough.
The interlock may be enough, and then, you know, when we built the truck, we put all the options we could think of for the rear ends and the back of it, and so, you know, you could run just a forward locker with the interlock and you still have one. It'll be a little easier to turn. Okay.
Now, and then they went through and designed the transmission with the hydro seed weight and everything in mind.
Yeah.
You sent all the specs to them.
Like a full tank.
Yeah, we should be really good. And the nice thing about the Allison, it's urge to move. So the minute you put that thing in drive and take your foot off the throttle, it's going to want to.
That's right.
And we've got pretty low, I think they're 529s or something in the back of this.
Yeah.
So
It
should creep along slow enough for you.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I hope we got it close. You know.
Well, but it's automatic, so it's not like we're going to be riding a clutch.
Yeah, no, it's not. And also, if you're not, you know, if you're creeping along too fast in first gear with the loaded, and you're, you know, you just, you know, just tap the brake a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
The transmission just has a standard gears. There's no low range, is there?
Not on the Allison. You have 6 speeds on the Allison.
Yeah.
You got a deep first gear, and then the spreads get increasingly larger.
Yeah.
You know.
I thought I saw a high-low in there. No.
No, not
Okay.
on an Allison. You don't have, like, you can't. There's no real way to split the first gear. They've got 6 gears to work with.
That's
So
So this truck does not have a high-low at all. Is that what you're...
yeah, no, there's no high-low switch like you would have on a manual transmission where you're switching ranges.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that.
well, like
You have
we have
6
a couple
gears.
old 2000 Freightliners, and they're automatic, but we can also click it into low range with a toggle, but that's.
Yeah.
Sounds like this is going to creep slow enough anyway.
Yeah, it should. Without killing our highway speed.
Right.
That was the thing. We're trying to give you a low enough creep gear that you can also go down the freeway at 65 and not be.
Yeah. Because there was an option where you could go 75, and we're like, nah, we don't need to be going that fast.
We don't need to go that fast. So.
All right.
Yeah. So on the Allison, she checked all the Keeley checked all our parameters for us, and you do have all the performance modes are set up for you, so you shouldn't have any issues with performance power-wise.
Is there anything up there that stands out that you think I should know about, or
No,
it's pretty self?
It's pretty stuff. The main things were like we already discussed all the interlocks,
Mm-hmm.
and the Allison, you just put it in drive. If you need to shift it yourself, you can downshift it if you need to. What you're really gonna like with the Allison and the engine brake that we have on our truck, this thing will put you through the windshield if it needs to. It'll slow you down.
Oh yeah, that's the engine
So-
brake. So we've never played with one of those.
Yeah, so the engine brake, you turn on the engine brake, and then there's stages. So you have 3 stages
Is that
Jake,
right next to it?
right next to it. So
Okay.
you got high and low.
Maybe that's what I saw.
Medium, high, and low.
Okay.
So turn your Jakes on, and I would just start out in low and see how that.
Kind of like
Get a-
going
get a feel
downhill with
for
a
it?
full
Oh,
tank
yeah.
would be.
Absolutely. So that that'll help your creeping too, when you're, especially if you're coming down and you got your foot off the brake.
Nice.
Cool.
It should
I would
do
like to play
pretty
with that.
well. So you'll just have to play with it to get the feel of how much power each one of those stages of the engine brake has for
Sure.
you in the conditions you're operating in, and then it should be good. Awesome. After you use it a couple times. The only other thing to keep in mind is idle time and DPF usage.
Oh.
This is your first truck with DPF, isn't it? Decent protection.
Kind of.
Yeah,
we got some flatbeds,
Yeah,
but
we have some flatbed trucks. that
Okay,
have them, you
so
know.
I have it set up for adding a little extra idle in long idle situations. So if you're sitting and it's idling a lot, then it'll dose the filter a little. It's gonna maybe ramp up in RPM to help keep the health of the DPF
Okay.
where it needs to be.
interesting.
Okay, so duty cycle on it is really going to come down to how much usage you're under load, how much under load usage you are, and how well the turbo can build up temperature to build off soot and
Right.
to
And
burn
if you're
off
doing a
the
lot
soot.
of idling,
You're doing a lot of idling, there may be a situation where you need to do a regen,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and that switches on the dash, and what
Mhm.
you'll do is you'll end up getting a high temp or a light on
warning.
the dash, or a warning on the dash for that. And
What's the regen? About a half an hour.
it could be about a half an hour. It depends on how loaded the filter is. It could be 45 minutes, it could be 20 minutes. So what you'll need to do at that point is just stop, put it in park, and let it ramp it up. You'll hold the regen button down for a couple of seconds, and then it'll automatically go into regen.
Okay.
If it doesn't go into regen, it doesn't need a regen. So the computer knows.
It'll give you a warning
Yeah,
light, because
you'll
the
be
other
getting a
truck,
warning light.
and there's like 3 on mine. Like,
Yep,
you
3
know.
stages.
Yeah, exactly.
There's definitely 3 stages. You don't want to go past the second stage, because then you start getting into a possibility of a shutdown, and then a dealer has to correct it.
Yeah.
It's codes and
It's codes, and it's we got
have
to
a
plug
Kubota
in.
tractor
We got
the
to
same
force
way.
it.
Yeah.
We got to force it into regen, clean the filter out, and
Yeah.
so the other really important factor with these things is making sure that you use high quality, clean DEF. Okay, the new trucks have anything after 2017 has a DEF quality sensor in the DEF tank, so you want to make sure.
have you
that-
seen the boxes they sell at gas stations? The little square box.
Yeah,
Is that
so it's
that's
a little,
okay?
It's a little box, and
You can probably get bigger containers for these, right?
you can. It's. This is a